Hello and welcome everybody to a special session dedicated to Dynamics 365 Business Central released in Bulgaria, Slovakia, and Ukraine. What a day, right? And then I know that quite many of you are joining from countries where Business Central is available for quite a while already. Even if it is so, I am pretty sure that you will find the session valuable for you. I promised you will have five experts joining the session. And even if you are not seeing me only, don't worry. Just like magicians in their theater, you will appear them popping in to declare and announce everything there is to know about a particular field of operations they operate in, share the experience, tell you tips and tricks, and of course, answer any questions you have regarding Dynamics 365 Business Central. So what are these areas that we are going to cover? What are we going to focus on during these 2 hours that we have scheduled? Maybe more. If you will have questions and we see that we do not cover in the length. So first, we will cover some Microsoft story of what the offers, how they are available, how countries in Central Eastern Europe in generally are doing, what were the countries with the best practices and what can we replicate in Bulgaria, Slovakia, and Ukraine, and so on. Then we will move on to partner story, and we will have a very successful partner sharing their story on how did Business Central change their living, what were they using, and so on. Lately, we will move on with upgrades. So how to schedule an upgrade project, what's in there to know, what are the limitations, challenges that you should be aware, and etc. Next steps, AppSource. So how can you build your solution? Is it important to move to AppSource? Why it is important? How can you utilize the benefits AppSource is bringing? And all those kind of details. And lastly, we will dive in deeper into the topic of Power Platform. And I can share that from my experience, and I am covering Central Eastern Europe market, helping partners to grow. I can share that this question is probably one of the most demandful at the moment. How do I integrate? Where is the business case, and so on. So we are going to dive deep and understand where's value for you. As always, your participation is crucial. You see the options on your right, chat options. If you want to make sure that your question is answered or it's directed to a particular expert, and I can share already a secret, the experts are there in the background waiting for your questions. So you do not have to wait till the end or for the particular field to happen to ask your question, and they will take and answer that in chat. So in case there is a dedicated question, please use a specific questions answers field. Or if you just want to share your opinion, share the experience, or simply express how are you doing, where from are you joining, saying hi to partners, then you can use a public chat button. If we see you confusing and if we see that there is a communication going in the public chat, a question that we think would be relevant for others, also we will move that to the questions answers box. I can promise that all questions will be answered. Well, of course, all questions that we can answer in general. So whether it is during today or during some other time, if we do not manage that today. And with this, these are the experts that you will see today popping in and sharing different experiences and different field of expertise. Five experts, well, you see my picture there as well. So we will, so let's say 6 experts on board. Alexander Tovic joining and representing Microsoft side. And then Leko Herman representing partner side and sharing what made them successful. I'm representing CSP business line at One Click Factory, meaning if you would be interested in figuring out what is business case for you, how can you utilize offers and how One Click Factory can help, then of course I can help you. Agnė Balkevičiūtė Larienė is joining as One Click Factory expert. And the areas of expertise Agni is managing covers AppSource, ISV solutions, different Microsoft programs, and etc. Jonas Mikalkienas is our technical expert. So if there is a technical question that you would like us to cover, this is your time to ask this question, as Jonas is spending 2 hours and will be doing his best to help you out. And lastly, Tautvidas Dagys, representing One Click Factory and running a Power Platform CRM business practice at One Click Factory. So these are the experts. Let's challenge them. Let's ask questions and let's see how they're doing. And before I invite Alexandra to join, I would like to answer the question that might be on your forehead. So why is One Click Factory doing this in the first place? Why are we making the investment, gathering partners together, gathering experts together to share the knowledge that we have? And here is the answer why. One Click Factory was appointed by Microsoft to help partners from Central Eastern Europe move to cloud, to help them understand business case, understand how can they connect pieces together. How can they make the most out of it? With this, we were nominated as CSP indirect provider for the region. So if you would like to transact licenses from One Click Factory, not only licenses, but also make sure that you have upgrades, that your upgrades are taking care of development, automation, or maintenance of your solution. Now you can have the access of more than 130 experts on board. So if you are not in our program yet, and the program is with no commitments to you as a partner, I request you do it now. This is especially if you are coming from countries where Business Central SaaS is available, where we can help you the most to understand the business case behind and to understand how can you move forward. Oh, not yet. Not so. Alexandra is here already, but just so that we experience if the chat and have some fun with our participation, I actually have a prize for you, something nice from One Click Factory, and the prize is whoever answers the first. So which countries were the first ones from Central Eastern Europe to receive Business Central SaaS on the market? And let me see if I have some good answers already in the chat. Does anyone know? I see hello from Croatia, Bulgaria, Czechia. Serbia, yes, Serbia was one of them, but I'm looking for 3 countries. So who knows all 3 countries that happen to be on the first wave? I see Serbia, I see Poland, which are correct answers. So let's see whoever guesses the first 3, is the first to guess all 3. And with this, I want to introduce Alexander Totovic. Alexander, this is a huge pleasure to have you on board and to welcome you into our session. Alexander has been with Microsoft for many years already, responsible for biz apps and helping partners understand the technical issues, helping them to move to cloud, helping them to understand the business case behind. More than 15 years of experience with partners and partner channel. Don't miss opportunity to ask questions to Alexander. And before you open your slides, Alexander, I would like you to say, so what is the correct answer to the question that I just asked?
As far as I see, we finally got the right answer. First 3 countries were Estonia, Poland, and Serbia. And Tomasz answered correctly. You can see. There are our first 3 countries. Actually, we wanted a little bit more, but on the end, we finished this first quarter with first half of year with these 3 countries.
And if briefly describing how our countries now with Business Central SaaS available are doing on the scale 1 to 10, what number would you provide to Central Eastern Europe partners?
Okay, this is really complicated. Even it sounds really simplified, but there are big difference from country to country. We have countries where I can give mark, I don't know, 9 or 10, but we have countries with much below my personal expectation, and let's say in average maybe 6.
Okay, so the goal of this session today is to take the best practices of the countries that are doing really great and maybe to cover a little bit of struggles or challenges that other countries are facing and to help the ones move faster, beat the records. So, Alexander, the floor is yours. Please share the insights of Central Eastern Europe market.
Okay, first I would like to say to our new 3 countries, Ukraine, Bulgaria, and Slovakia, welcome to Busy Central SaaS or online family. Finally, as you can see on this slide, we have almost all European countries. Unfortunately, we still don't have all, and I would like to have all of them. We are still missing, if I'm not wrong, maybe I will miss some, but I hope I will not. Belarus, Moldova, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Montenegro, Albania, and North Macedonia. And in whole C, if I add what is important, because they are really big countries, Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, we need to complete all of these countries. And I hope we will do it soon. I cannot give a promise. It doesn't depend only on one person, and it doesn't depend only on Microsoft. This is common piece of work with partners. We need to prepare common readiness. We need to be sure that we will have expected market in these countries. And if there is such a case, we will try to help our partners to finish with other countries as well. Okay, let's see what we have in these 3 countries from the beginning. In Bulgaria, you can see we have, this is everything from AppSource. I just copied AppSource. I didn't change anything. In Bulgaria, we have 3 different localization from 3 different partners. We have localization from Team Vision, FTS, Intelligence System, the pretty big choice. In Ukraine, we have localization from 2 partners, Smart Business and Innover. Again, pretty big wide of different types of areas in localization. And as far as I know, because I'm working with these partners, we can expect more applications very soon. And in Slovakia, we have 2 partners with localization, Soinea and AutoCont. This is what we have up to now, and what is really important, and you will see maybe later with some numbers, this is really important to have everything what is necessary for localization, and not only what is mandatory based on legislations. You need to have all these nice to have features in your you can call this localization or nice to have features, whatever, but you need to have this on AppSource. If you don't have all of them, if you need to develop for each of clients, there is no way that you will have a success story in your country with SaaS. You need to have everything prepared, and after that, you just need to repeat just to deploy these apps. This is much faster, much easier. This is not only about price, this is about how fast you are. If you cannot deliver implementation of SaaS solution in very, I don't know, depends of case to case. Sometimes this is month, maybe 2 or 3, but if you need as we had, I don't know, half of a year or more for implementation, there is no way we cannot have successful story with SaaS. Okay, let's look a little bit number. You will understand me that I cannot show all accurate numbers because this is not on me. I cannot make this decision, but you will see tendency. This is not about calendar. This is about Microsoft fiscal year from July to June. And okay, you can see that first in 2019, it was just beginning. But after that, you can see tendency from 2020, 2021. This is more than 2 times more customers. Actually, this is there are customers, and this bigger one are seats. And now maybe you can see this is not so fast, but this is just first quarter, because in fiscal year 2022, we have numbers only for first quarter. That means we can expect 3 quarters until the end of the year, and probably it will be much, much more. And probably we will repeat these 2 to 3 times more clients in this year as well. And this is pretty good tendency, but to keep it it will depend a lot of new countries, how new markets will accept SaaS model, because we cannot do the same numbers if we have only the same countries. We need to add new markets, and this is what we want together with partners. We want new markets and new clients in existing markets as well. Okay, now I would like to show you a little bit more details per countries. How countries did their job. This is correct with partners, of course, but I will not. It will not be correct that if I show partners numbers, I show only countries numbers. On the left side, you have customers numbers. On the right, you have seats. And you can see on the first place on the left side that we have only 1% difference between Hungary, Poland, and Estonia, from 23, 22, and 21% of market share in CE, whole CE. And these three countries keeps almost 2/3 of all customers in CE. We have only Czechia additionally as a 2-digit percentage of customers in all these in whole CE. But on the right side, you can see similar but not so exactly numbers, because this time we have Estonia much bigger. Even Estonia has only 21. I need to see a little bit better these numbers. 21% of customers. They have 31% of all seats in CE. And these numbers are really big. And after a minute or two, I will explain why these numbers are so big. But we have here again Poland with 20%, Hungary with 17%, Czechia with 10%. But what is good here? We have, for example, two countries here with 7% and 6%, and this is Croatia. They have only 3% in customers, but they have 7% in seats. That means Croatia has pretty big clients, and that's good. That's good. And we need these customers to prove that we can work in SaaS with the big customers. This is important. And the this left is maybe even more weird, because these left 6% are from Ukraine. We just started in Ukraine, and we already have two clients with already 6% of all seats in CE. They're amazing results. I hope we will continue in this direction in Ukraine, especially in Ukraine right now, because I'm looking at amazing numbers after just few days, and I hope we will continue with that. But why I wanted to say that these numbers related with Estonia are in general even bigger, because there are just numbers when you compare all countries. But when we add additional variable as population, and I didn't put this on a slide, but I made some charts when I added population for all these countries. In this case, Estonia will keep 67% of all seats. If we have, countries with the same populations, this is really amazing. That means based on population, Estonia is doing absolutely the best. There is no second place, because after their 67%, we will have Malta with 12% of share, and Croatia, Hungary, and Latvia together, all of them with 5%. But 67%, if you can imagine that all of these countries have the same population. They're really amazing results. Okay, let's look a little bit more deeper how to focus and where we need to focus to get more customers. On the left side, you can see the best industries right now. Best industry, not the proper word, but the best industry when we look in a number of customers of Business Central SaaS. Currently, the consumer goods and retailers are absolutely number one, number two. After that, we have professional services and high tech, little bit lower, but good enough. And real estate and some other industries are below. But let's say the main focus, absolutely main focus, will be consumer goods and retailers, and pretty good professional services and high tech. The best segments is, as probably all of us expect, SMB, between 96 and 97%. I didn't put exact numbers because I took two different per customer and per seats, and both of them are somewhere between 96 and 97%. We have public sector as well. We have corporate segment as well. But you can see this is between 3 and 4%. This is our main focus is SMB. And on the right chart, you can see again some good numbers. If you look what kind of licensing we are selling in the cloud, you can see that 2/3, 67% are essential users. This is probably what we expected. If you asked me 2 years ago, probably I will say that we will have 80% of essentials. And because of that, I need to say that I'm surprised a little bit with the number of premium users. We have more than 1/4, 26% of premium users. That means we have manufacturing companies and let's say pretty good number for SaaS expectation. And this is good. This is definitely good to have, because having manufacturing processes on a cloud can prove that we don't have problem with performances. It will work smoothly, and this is really good to have. And on the end, you can see that team members are, let's say, around 4% and 3% devices. That means we have team members, we have devices, but the biggest share in our licenses are connected with regular users for essential premium users. Okay, how Estonia did it? This is the question, and probably Leho will continue after me. I will take just a couple of minutes to finish what I wanted to show you. But from my some basic conclusion, what I could make first, Estonia has more than 20 localization apps on AppSource. This is what I said. You need to have everything on a plate. You cannot expect that your client will take your localization with the basic features, and after that wait next few months to from you to develop all necessary additional features. You need to have almost everything. And what I heard from some of my friends outside of CE, from Western Europe and US, they're really often taking other, not localization apps, some other apps from AppSource. AppSource is really good source and for apps, for customers, and for your services as well. But what is, I don't know, maybe we will get better inside information from Estonian partners, but what I think that is good decision, it was good decision, and we succeed with that to have a basic localization package is made by consortium of partners. This is common localization. After that, partners continue with their own features, with their own apps, but basic package is common. And it proved much more security for customers. I know that all partners would like to keep customers only for them. But if I'm a customer and I need to decide which solution to buy now, I don't need to decide which partner. I need to choose solution. If I need to choose some local solution, Business Central, NetSuite, for example, I need to get some security. And this, in Germany, if I'm not satisfied with one partner, I can move to another partner. But if all partners have different localization, if I'm not satisfied with partner, what I need to do? I need actually to do absolutely new implementation, re-implementation, because now I need to change localization package, and not only from partner side, I need to learn how to use this new localization, and this is not the best choice for customers. I understand that partners mostly would like to have their own localization, but it will provide much more security for customers, and probably this is something what will push customers more to buy Business Central. If they decide for Business Central, of course, after that they can choose between our partners in this country. But we will ask Estonian partners more about that. Before we continue with answer from Estonian partners, or actually partner this time, I will just want to show you one more picture about available options. I know that most of us are looking online and on-prem, but very often we are decided to go to on-prem because we don't have good internet connection, or we need direct access to database, something like that. And I just want to remind you that we have hybrid model. That means you will pay for online, but you can download on-premise license and you can work. You will get all performances from on-prem, but system will synchronize with your cloud solution, and you can use the best from both worlds. You can have everything as on-prem, but you can use Power Platform and all other synchronizations and automation and licensing you are getting from cloud solution. And in this direction for online and hybrid, I will just remind you that we have good cloud promo, bridge to cloud promo. I will not talk right now about this promo. If you have questions about that, just put in chat window, and we will discuss later about these details. Now, I would like to ask our
So
colleague from
I would like to add a comment here as well. We at OnClick Factory, as CSP and direct provider, are building a lot of content to be shared with you, our partners. We have added the main the fact sheets, brochures, descriptions, the main campaigns for you to not miss in the downloadable hands-out session. The Bridge to Cloud campaign is under the documents that we are sharing with you as well. So if I highly recommend go and download the handouts we prepared, as we are trying to address the main questions that we hear from the market. And yes, I would like to ask in Lecho representing BCS Itera. But before Lecho joins and starts his story, I would like to tell Alexander that Yuri is promising more than 6% for you and even faster growth. But he has some comments regarding support. So I am leaving. There is a question in the chat. I said I encourage you to move and answer Yuri's question and comment about the support that they might in Ukraine might be missing. With this, let me introduce Leko Herman, who is representing one of the best or the best business central partner in Estonia, having the largest customer base. Leko himself is running sales, and he has been in sales and with NEV Business Central for more than 15 years already. Also, he is considered to be the expert of the cloud solutions, cloud offerings. So if there is a question that you would like to ask, so how on earth he's doing that? How on earth is Estonia bringing all those customers to cloud? This is the time. Lecho, hello, good to have you on board. And before you move on the next slide, can you share if what Alexander, the phenomena Alexander has shared about Estonia, is it the story of Estonia as country in general, or is it the story of BCS Itera and how successful you were introducing the cloud to your customers?
Yeah, thanks, guys. I believe it's like one combo from all these aspects. And Estonia is a small country, as Alexander said. And I believe the size of our country is like fortunate for us and unfortunate also, because as we are a small country, we are working together with also our competitors on everyday base. In customers' side, we are like a competitors. But as Alexander mentioned, we did the localization from the very start when Microsoft started this partner lead localization program. We are started to cooperate with our competitors, and I believe this is a big advantage, because in such a small country like Estonia, there is no point to have like several localizations and to like just spend the money to like to create different localization packages. This is one point, and this works very well till now. Even like I said, even we are competitors, then we are also partners who are doing meeting once per months and discussing what we should add into the localization package, what we should change. Then we just agree the budget for that change, and then we just do the developments and launch new localization package. And I believe another part of this size of the country is also that we have agreed like one message to the market. So we have like one goal, one common goal, and that's a cloud. And I believe that have helped also quite a much. That's our some comments to the additionally to Alexander.
So very nice cooperation between competitors. That's what I hear. Also, if to recall our conversation that we had last time, you mentioned that you're moving customers to cloud because of egoistic approach for yourself, that it removes technical nuances, and it's good not only for customers themselves, but also for partners. Is that a good summary of the attitude that you are taking?
Yes, I have one. Actually, I have one slide for that, and but you were totally correct, because yeah, we are also liking the cloud because we can more and more focus on providing our service, not to deal with the technical part of the project. But
Super.
I will touch this topic.
Super. The floor is yours, Lecho.
Thanks. So. Maybe before I go for this concept of the cloud, I just few words our company. Uh, we call ourselves like a rather small company. We have 70 employees, 70 employees who are dealing every day with the Business Central and still with NAV or Navision customers, and we are dealing only with Business Central solution. Okay, some side solutions are also involved, like Power BI for BI, what is essential for every customer, and we have some add-ons from international providers and our own horizontal solution for HRM. But majority, except of Power BI, they are based on Power Business Central platform. And currently we are like we're calling ourselves like a service company, but with this cloud approach, there is all every day like a coming like question: do we have to be like a service company, or we should think about moving more to the product based company? But I will touch also this topic later. So coming to this slide, what is the cloud actually? Maybe we should just align how we see the magic magic of the cloud. Is it like something totally new and different, or it's some kind of additional innovation on top of our existing system? So I have some couple of points to see how we see the SaaS or cloud or online concept. We just a remark, we call it like a Business Central Cloud. I know that somebody likes to call it SaaS, somebody likes to call it online, but yeah, our customers, they are talking all about cloud solutions. So we also keep using the cloud term. So for the customer side, it can seem more or less the same as it have been all the time, the cloud or the previous versions of the systems. Of course, there are some new features also, but the main idea is for us is that customer doesn't have to worry how to manage his Business Central solution, nor infrastructure, nor version upgrades, not anything. So the customer can focus on using the solution, ERP solution, Business Central. And now it depends how partner have to care about these components till now. We have tried to take all these responsibilities away from customer, and we manage the service, and we are doing the version upgrades. So I will talk about these version upgrades some later slides also. So till now, we are also trying to free customer from site responsibilities and feel like he's using the cloud. Of course, it's not a real cloud, but yeah, we just try to give this imagination of the customer. So considering these points, I would say that very roughly saying that for customer, cloud approach should be normal. It very much depends also on the country and its business environment in general. For example, in Estonia, again, our happiness or unhappiness has been that we have quite a large startup scheme. That means we have most probably some kind of software solution made by startup for every problem what rises. And all these startup solutions are from the start, they are based on cloud solutions. So everybody knows that cloud is totally normal. And there is, I don't know, do they think that there is no other way? But yeah, the cloud is option number one. And I would say that in Estonia, if you're talking about the new customers, then majority of these customers, they ask by themselves, how about cloud solution? Not how about the on-prem or some other solutions. So I would say that for the customer, the moving to the cloud, it's quite normal, and there is not like a big difference, because they have always wanted to just use the system and not to deal with side responsibilities. Another part is actually for the partner. So do we have something new from the cloud? That I would say that like you mentioned, that the cloud, we have different technical nuances. So we don't have to deal anymore with infrastructure. So it's totally Microsoft's responsibility, and actually we like it very much. So we can focus on our Business Central part only. Another big change are these automatic version upgrades. So let's say it's automatic. Even we know that twice a year we have to be ready for if something will broke during the background version upgrades on customization side. But having experience from the first cloud version from Business Central 13th, I can say that there have been only few cases where we had to interrupt and fix something during the version upgrades. So more or less all version upgrades have went quite smoothly. And this is from technical part. Microsoft took away this part from us. Of course, version upgrades have been like big projects on our history, and we have like quite a earned good money from that. But I believe if we now can focus on more like finding a new customer instead of doing the version upgrades, it grows our customer base more quickly, and we can benefit from new customers. So, and another this kind of hope for us from the cloud was actually the AL language concept and this apps concept. You know that everybody wants to be efficient and maybe to reuse the work we have done already in like a previous projects. We have developed something, some smaller and bigger parts, and to reuse them, we can be like more efficient and earn additional money. With Seaside or old NAV, it was challenge for us actually, but with apps we had this crazy idea that we do every customization only once, and therefore are able to invoice additional fee every next time, and this way to be extra efficient. I have slide about also our apps later, and there I can talk what is the reality actually. So our concept regarding the cloud business, actually we have to clarify one thing. I don't know what is the last official message from Microsoft, but Alexander also showed that the majority of customers are SMB. So we also have to define what actually is SMB. I believe the SMB in Estonia and in Poland can be like indifferent because the size of countries. But we had like a feeling that for the cloud, MS or Microsoft pushes this solution more to like a smaller companies. But our feeling and real life practice from last 15, 20 years have been like a totally different, or our approach have been different. Like Business Central actually has great functionality, and one big competitive advantage, what we think, it's still quite simple and easily customizable. So, and that makes it perfect match for mid-size and even big-sized companies. If we're talking like to be more specific, I'm talking here about the customers up to 100+ users. So in Estonia, we consider them like a mid-size or a mid-peak companies. So, and if we are dealing with the customers who have so many users, then Business Central projects are not like only like a financial or bookkeeping projects, but they are real ERP projects, what means that our projects last half a year or a year. And if you remember the Alexander slide with the pie showing number of customers, and he talked also about it, then yes, we have like a smaller market share in number of customers, but bigger market share in number of number of seats or users. That means we are getting like more like a bigger customers. So with that kind of prospects during the sales process, we have actually only one message. It's a Business Central Cloud solution. If we offer Business Central, it's Business Central Cloud. There are like no other options available. Only in rare cases, actually, yeah. In reality, there are like other options, on-prem, hybrid options, and so on. But we are not taking these options on the table when during the sales process. So only rare cases where we bring other cloud options on the table. So on-prem is not an issue at all with the new customers. We have only one customer, an on-premise new customer in last years, and we have to be very strict with this message that the cloud is only solution. And if somebody wants actually something else, what is not cloud, actually we are trying to convince them to go to the cloud. How we are doing the convincing is actually we are taking like the pros and cons on the table. We are talking them through, and also what I do suggest to do is do the TCO, or this total cost of ownership calculations. So, and with these TCO calculations, you can show that usually when customer takes, oh, I want to go to the on-premise or I want to go to hybrid, then they only compare like cost of server and cost of licenses, but they forget to compare all these aspects what remain. I believe you all know the picture of iceberg, when the small part is on the water and the biggest part is under the water, and under the water there are costs for project management from their own side, and server room and AC and so on. So we do suggest to bring on the table all these hidden or side costs, and after that, I believe it's easier to convince them to go to the cloud. So yeah, to sum up the slide, we try to make cloud as by default option as possible. So I suggest you to do the same. Just make it by default option and no other options, and then it's easier for the sales part, for the consultants part to talk with the customer. Of course, the environment itself has to support that. As I mentioned, in Estonia, the cloud solution is quite normal in other business areas also. So it's easier for us a little bit. So what next? Just some words about our cloud journey. Like Inga asked the question, who were the first ones? Then yes, Estonia was the happy country who actually got the cloud solution in first wave, and it started at the end of year 18. But the beginning was not so smooth, because we have like different obstacles for that. I believe it should be easier now, because when we started at the end of 18, we actually had also this old version, seaside version available, as you all know. And another very important aspect is that old habits die hard, we can say, based on our own employees. So it took approximately half a year before we were ready for the cloud. What that means? The first step actually was to turn the developers into the new phase, the AL phase. And I believe it has happened in many companies, but our old professional developers had like tens of reasons why Seaside was better than AL, and they talked about that in every hour meeting, that AL is not ready yet, and let's continue with Seaside, and so on and so on. Okay, some of the story this time was true, but we made decision inside our company that, and we forced them to make the turn to the AL. And the result actually was that from the beginning, when the cloud, when the new Business Central started from version Business Central 13th, we did all projects in AL code. We transferred also our own solutions, HRM, smaller apps, localizations, into the AL and into the apps. And this was like as a concept from the very, very beginning. We used the new technology. I know that I have talked with them, some of our partners in different countries, and they have problems transferring their own solutions into the AL because it requires quite many hours, and this is a big investment. That's true, but you have to do that. You have to do the step, and we did this step at the beginning at once. And I believe now everybody's happy we did it at once and at the beginning. So the second step actually was to overcome the fear that we can't control the cloud. As also Inga and Alexander said, we have no direct access there and so on and so on. And maybe also if we had no experiences with the cloud, so we can't control, maybe it's getting slow and customers become to complain, or there are some other issues. So what I can say from our history with the cloud solution, yes, we had one such a case where customer complained about performance. I believe it was year 19 or 20 something. So what we did actually, we started support ticket, and actually it was solved quite quickly by Microsoft. They did something on the background and increased the performance. The case was closed. So we actually haven't had a problem with performance. And now actually I believe the system has improved a lot during the last years, and I believe the performance balancing has improved quite a lot, and it is another level comparing with the year 2019. So I can also bring another practical case where we transferred one multi-country customer this year. They have approximately 80 or 90 users. And we took them from the Azure and put them into the cloud. And customer actually gave feedback that their Business Central is now much faster in the cloud. So another real life case what proves that cloud is totally okay. So if we overcame these fears, maybe this programming language, these performance issues, and these kind of fears, so it was only question for us was agreeing the common message in our company. Also, as I mentioned, with our not partners, competitors, but sometimes are also our partners. And fortunately, everybody came along, and now we are all many years already. We are just cloud people. So if we're talking with the customers, if consultants talk with customers, if project managers talk with customers, then the cloud is the first option. So, and if you talk about, Alexander showed some percentages, I can share our own numbers regarding the users. We have, at the moment, we have approximately 40 plus customers in the cloud, and that makes more than 400 full users and more than 200 team members. And we also have done multi-country projects where we implement the cloud solution, the same solution in different countries. So, and everything works fine. So, what's next? I don't know if I have time. Okay. About apps. I have a little bit incorrect title. I see it's not about prices, it's about the apps. Just few words about apps and AppSource. Yeah, like Alexander mentioned, we have quite many localization and localization related apps and AppSource. And as I mentioned also in the beginning, the new approach with this new cloud approach, we had great hopes with the apps and their reusability. And we started to make some customization as apps and put them at once into the AppSource. The main idea actually was to reuse them by ourselves, and if it happens, why not to resell them to other partners also. So what can I say now, a couple of years later? The AppSource is a great place, but I hope that it's not getting this kind of AppSource like you have, if you have like an Android phone or Apple phone and you're entering into the Android shop or however they call it, then it's quite hard to find any app there because there are millions of apps. It's good to have millions of apps, but then it's hard to find the best one and the one what actually suits for you. So at the moment there are about 1,500 apps or something like that, and it's still like manageable. So yeah, it's nice to have and make apps, but there are also like responsibilities. It's like taking a dog. It's cute when he's small and with his big eyes, but when he starts to grow, you have to really take care of him. So the same actually with the apps. They are good, you can reuse them, but please do consider every app or every functionality or every module must have his own life cycle. And what this life cycle management means, you have to get them into the new versions, you have to add new functionality, you have to have marketing materials, you have to support them. And all these things require resources. So that means man hours, that means money. So, and you have to have like a very good idea or horizontal app to make it sell a lot and to earn money from that. So maybe another suggestion is you do focus on your specific business area. I believe Microsoft has said this already years and years about this verticalization thing. So here we also have like a question to be like a service company who serves customers and does the projects, or to become more like a product company to build the apps and to develop additional features then and sell them. And I believe if you're doing the apps and putting them to AppSource in one stage, you are facing the same dilemma to be like a service company or product company. So some more slides. How our new customers are divided. We have, like I said, we have like a cloud-only option in our company. Then, therefore, we have approximately 80% of our customers are in the cloud, in public cloud, Microsoft SaaS. Then we also have private cloud, and private cloud is actually means that we have some customers on Azure, but we are taking care of them like they are in cloud. So for the customers, we say you are in the cloud, but on the background inside our house, we know that actually they are on the private cloud and we have to take care of them, their system. And yeah, as I mentioned, 1-2 customers are on premise also because they require that by themselves. And these are interesting point. These customers who are on premise, they moved from Axapta to the Business Central. So, and the total customer base at the moment, as you see, approximately 60% are on the cloud, and we don't have to like a target to get the cloud like 100%, but we are working on that to push these numbers up more to the cloud. And one concept for our customers, what also helps to sell during the sales process, we are telling that you have to be on the latest version. There are like 2 versions coming per year, and Microsoft only supports it 18 months. So please do consider to be on the latest version. And if it's okay if you're going to like a cloud solution, then you are on the latest version. But if customer is against the cloud, we say that you have to be a latest version to get all the features. And we also support our HRM solution and localization solutions only like a Microsoft does, 18 months. So if you don't do any version upgrades during 1.5 years, you are already like on old solution. So that also makes customer think to be on the cloud version, to get the automatic updates and so on. And to sum up, I would say that the cloud is the only way. This has to be your own message inside the house, and please to talk with your competitors also, and go to the market with the on one common message. And cloud can be like public cloud, what is Microsoft SaaS or Microsoft Cloud, or the private also for us at least. But we call it a cloud to the customer. We serve it like a cloud, but we take care on the background about all the technical nuances. I also mentioned customer must have the latest version, and also think about the dilemma of service company or product company. So, and for this last slide, I believe I have some restrictions or challenges for the cloud, what we have faced, what we have. The first one is customer size. It's not like a restriction, it's more like a challenge, because some customers think that, oh, if I'm going to the cloud, and I have many customers, what happens if I lose the internet connection or something like that? But we have like elevator pitches for this kind of questions, and we say that no problems. Big customers are in the cloud, they are working very well, there has been no problems with that. Another restriction can be customer segment. It's for, I believe it's our personal problem at the moment. We are also offering LS Retail as a retail solution, and just they haven't reached Estonia yet with the cloud solution. But if they reached here, we certainly will offer the cloud solution. So one rock to the Microsoft side, it's always has been like a problem that 80 gigabytes is not enough. And 80 gigabytes is not 80 gigabytes, I'm saying, because Microsoft offers you 80 gigabytes, but if you're doing production database and sandbox database beside that, then you have 80 gigabytes for both in total. So you can't have like a production database more than 40 gigabytes then. But on our experience with the new customers, there has no been problem with the database size. It's more with the customers who are doing the version upgrades with the old legacy data from NAV times, when they have tens of gigabytes data and they want to move with all this data to the cloud, then you can have this like a challenge. But of course, if you have money, then you can purchase additional storage, no problem. For us, actually, the biggest challenge in the cloud have been BI solution. BI solution, I don't mean Power BI by that. Power BI is just to making the dashboards and reports, but the real data warehouse solution. If you are like a bigger customer with users, 40 users, some 50 users or more, you have to have like a data warehouse solution. But there has like have been technical limitations for that. But now we have like a special solution, BI for Dynamics, for that, and they have solved this technical issue now, and we can also offer BI solution for bigger customers. And of course, everybody knows existing customer habits. You just have to convince them, talk. And this last one, I also mentioned service or product company, how to be or how to continue. So I had 15 minutes, I talked 30 minutes, sorry about that.
Well, Lecho, but you have a story. So and I think out of what we are sharing, partner story and partner insights are the most important ones. You have lived through that, through challenges, through struggles, through everything. And from what you have shared, I understand that you are ruining this myth that Business Central Cloud is for small customers only. And this is exactly what Alexander has shared in his slides as well, that Microsoft wants to encourage that the Business Central Cloud solution is not only for small customers. Alexander, what is your opinion? How can we encourage more partners to take this approach and to trust that they can advise more their bigger, larger customers, mid-sized customers to move to SaaS?
Probably as Leho said, they need to decide in their heads, okay, we want to do this. Currently, the biggest challenge is that partners are not sure. Okay, I need to generalize. This is not the same for all partners, but in most of cases, partners are not sure what to do. They didn't try something, and they are not sure about performances, especially for big customers, because of really huge competition between partners. Nobody will ask, I don't know, some of a more experienced partner, not only in country, but for some in Germany, French, for whatever, because we have partners with hundreds of users in their implementations. Nobody is checking how it's behaving in this situation. Partners need more to have more trust to Microsoft first. That means if we say it will work, it will work. Of course, we will have sometimes some challenges, and this is normal, especially when we change completely industry. But partners must trust much more to what Microsoft is promising. Very often, I see that partners are suspicious about performances because they are trying trials, but trials don't have the same environment as production environment. This is not the same. That means if you have poor performances in trials, this is not something what you will get in production environment. I know from the first situation, I discussed with a lot of people who are working, not as a partners, as a customers, as a clients, as a users with Business Central, and I didn't hear that they have some performance issues. This is a very important message, and partners must trust us, and they need to start. The biggest issue is that they are not sure if they can do this, and very often they are not sure because, let's say, of lack of some features in a cloud. But this is not a lack. This is they need to change point of view. We have much more available features in the cloud than in comparison with the on-prem, but they need to change a little bit point of view. We have new services, much better services, but now it is not enough just to work in Business Central, okay, in AL, as we had, for example, a few years ago. You just need to be an expert in a nav, and it was enough. Now you need to know much more. But if you know and if you expand your knowledge, you will get more additional services as well. That means, as Leho said, for example, they have some cloud customers not on SaaS. It means that BC is there invested in learning and to providing some features in infrastructure as a service. And additionally, you can use some more services, especially for integration. We have Azure Functions and so many different tools. And if you're a developer, you can use whatever you want. But when I discuss with developers, mostly with developers, let's say that more than 50% of NAV or BC developers I talked with, they didn't even hear for Azure Function. And this is a really poor research because they must go outside of their comfort zone. They cannot keep themselves only in Business Center. They need to learn a little bit more.
Thank you, Alexander. And here I have a tip as well. If you do not trust Microsoft as the vendor because you think that they might be exaggerating the story, One Click Factory can be a third party that you can contact. We are operating worldwide, and typically we are fast to respond, and typically we are happy to help you connect with other partners, maybe not from your part of the country, but from similar country of yours, where you could discuss and find similar examples and get this proof that yes, it is working, yes, the performance is okay, security is okay, everything is fine. So please, I encourage you to contact One Click Factory as well as third party who is kind of in between Microsoft and the partner. And going back to what Leho has shared, that it's mind changing, that you need to train your developers. Also, what I can share, that One Click Factory has a very good base of instructors, and we have very deep technical trainings prepared for partners. This is not what we typically do on our database basis, meaning that our instructors are really practical experts. They are being in the projects, they are upgrading customers, but that's why probably our instructors and the trainings they delivered are very highly evaluated by participants and in general on the market. And with this, as Lecho now shared the challenges and struggles, this is a very good time and to introduce Jonas Mikalkenas. Jonas Mikalkenas, before he joins in, Alexander, I would like to point your attention that Yuri still had some additional questions in the chat. Please address those and answer those. Jonas is one of our best experts at One Click Factory. 18 years of experience, very different experience at customer side, partner side, different fields, retail, manufacturing, various kind of projects. At the moment, Jonas is leading the team of developers and is fully focused on helping partners migrate their customers to cloud. So if you are coming to me and have a question regarding SaaS, how it is operating, what is the performance, most likely it is Jonas in the background helping me answer those questions. So now we have Jonas on board. Jonas, would you agree that those challenges, what Lecho has just shared, are relevant? Are you ready to remove the frustration and maybe tell some tips and tricks how can partners overcome those challenges so that it is easier way than it was for Lecho to find the answers?
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Inga, for good words about me. Yes, I 100% agree with Lecho about all he told just now, and all those challenges from real world. I can just congratulate Lecho with good results in Estonia and with amazing flow of new customers to SaaS, to cloud. But let's talk a little bit about existing solutions that customer already have. Lecho already mentioned it, that this is real challenge, that they have lots of problems there and big database, old habits that are not compatible with cloud. My main focus to work with those existing solutions, helping them and partners having just customers to move to this exciting cloud world. So first of all, what you need to communicate to your customers, it's mindset changing. That you cannot take old architecture, old solution, and one move to cloud. Cloud is a little bit different animal, and you should behave in different way. So if you have very complex solution, you still have very complex solution when you move to cloud. You need to implement some things, you need to change architecture, you need to resolve challenges, how to move resources that you now have locally to make them accessible from cloud environment. And for this, you need sometimes completely rebuild your architecture. And of course, new implementation is always good. But when we have a customer with a long existing history, with existing integrations and etc., then only way is to upgrade solution. And unfortunately, now is we have big challenges there. And one of things that you need to understand, changing this mindset, that Business Central Online is not the right place for massive operations, for keeping all that data you have. It was old style, old school of implementing ERP solution that everything can be managed from your central ERP, including opening doors in your manufacturing and like manage all your robots and automations, and everything is in some solutions. It can be done from old Navision version, but Business Central is not about this. Business Central is very nice ERP system which can be integrated using web services almost with everything, but you need to change the architecture. You don't need to keep all those your terabytes of information and operations inside of Business Central Online. So you can use Power Platform features, you can use Azure features, and that's the right direction to develop. So when you have existing solution, there still are lots of questions to answer. So you as a partner should ask your customer all those questions to understand the real situation and to offer best way how to reach cloud from current situation. So because we are dependent on many things, and it's good when it's possible to re-implement from new start, but when you want to move existing solution, all those questions should be answered. Yeah, and we can classify existing solutions and suggest best ways how to move to Cloud Vault by categories. So first of all, if you have pure standard solution without customization, it's like dream situation, but sometimes it happens. You just can do clean stuff like migrate your existing data to SaaS, and there are some nice features to migrate even from earlier versions, and it's easiest way how to move your simple customer, simple solutions to SaaS. Then, if you have very old solutions where nobody remembers why and who programmed all those customizations, then clean start approach is also available. You can just move existing data to the new standard and do some development on top, like Leho and his team does in his country. And it's nice way to move customers to a pure new solution. And yeah, then we have customized solutions we want to upgrade, and then we should go to upgrade approach as well. Yeah, so we have two types of let's draw a line. When we have light customizations, then it's easy way, and you can still just build extension with all those customizations, and One Click Factory offers the service as well. We are able to analyze all your customizations. We can move them. We can re-implement what is not working on cloud, and when your customizations are light and SaaS compatible, cloud compatible, then it's easier way to migrate. So when changes are additive, when you are not breaking standards, then everything is fine. But if you have destructive changes, if some standard code is commented, deleted, if some functionalities are heavily customized and it don't exist anymore in newer versions, like jobs, product groups, approvals in old versions, which are dramatically changed by Microsoft already. If you have heavily customized key standard functionalities like posting, cost adjustment, reservation, then most probably, as Leho said, maybe it's not a problem, maybe it's a challenge. So for bigger customers. So in IT world, everything is possible, but sometimes it takes too much time and resources. So yeah. So also we have limitations, and as I work with Business Central all online from 2018 as well. In first my presentations 3 years ago, this limitations slide was very huge, divided into several slides and full information. Now, thanks to Microsoft and product evolution, this list is shorter, dramatically shorter, and for example, we don't have performance slide anymore, as Alexander already mentioned it, and I can confirm that performance in Business Central Cloud is great. And now my main challenges are when we are talking not about internal performance, but when we are talking about request number to other systems. Now that is bottleneck, because sometimes when you communicate with other cloud systems, response time is not fast enough, but it's already for bigger solutions. But all those things are also solving to very right direction now, so it's not so important. Database size limitation. As we mentioned, 80 gigabytes is not enough. 80 gigabytes is not 80 gigabytes because we have sandbox and etc. For sure, we have a very good feature that for every user you are getting 2 or 3 extra gigabytes, depending on your license type. But so for larger customers, you can have bigger database space you need to pay additionally. But as I mentioned at my first slide, solution is not there. So solution is not to move everything to Business Central. Because if you will move all your 20 years of history, if you will move all your special modules into Business Central, like lots of retail operations, lots of logistic operations, then yes, you will have major space problems there. But if you will use external systems to manage everything, you are able to build perfect ERP from several components in cloud. Yeah, I will return to this next slide. But yeah, so of course, missing applications in AppSource, it's always a limitation. Now we have a lot better situation than 3 years ago. We have many add-ons moved already to cloud. We have many local applications, but especially for new countries from the beginning, of course, missing third-party applications for local things, missing add-ons most popular in those countries can be a challenge to upgrade solutions. So there, yes, it's a challenge for partners, for local partners to resolve the situation in every country. Because some countries made a good progress there already, some countries are on the way, but yes, AppSource now is full of various applications, and with time it will be more and more. And I think this problem, this limitation, is disappearing time by time as well. Yeah, then of course some functionality is not supported by cloud, so you need to implement it using compatible features. You need to find another ways. You need to think out of the box and eliminate all those things that are too dependent on things not supported by Business Central SaaS. And then, yes, when you want to customize behavior of standard app, you are dependent on event publishers in standard code. And Microsoft created thousands of publishers during last several years. And for example, in version 19 of Business Central, progress is significant because we got new publishers in the places we wanted to customize during last years, and now we are able to do something that was impossible. Main challenge that if you find new place where you want publisher, you can request it from Microsoft using GitHub. Main challenge there is only leading time, because it would be delivered most probably in next or after next version. And so it means if you requested standard functionality, you will have it several months or almost year later from your request. So it means that you need to do your upgrade in 2 phases. First, reach on-premise and keep some base app features modified, and then wait until it will be resolved. Yeah. So returning to database size limitation, so main advice is to keep your historical data outside Business Central. So it means that BI systems, data warehouses, it is a solution. Main challenge is that there are not so many out-of-the-box tools you can manage it easily. So it's heavy development work to build perfect solution to move data from your Business Central to your Hive. So, but as I know, some partners worldwide are working on it as well, and there are coming some solutions already. And I believe that 2 or 3 years later, we will not talk about this as about a problem as well. So then, for example, yes, when you have lots of attachments in your database, lots of blob files, use external blob storages, use Azure blob storage, because space there is a lot times cheaper. You will pay cents for gigabytes, like terabytes cost only a very symbolical price. And we already upgraded some solutions, moving a huge amount of documents and attachments to blob storages, and some add-on solutions are as well already supporting this feature, and it works perfectly. I can confirm. Yeah, and situation in AppSource now is a lot better. I just preparing this presentation, I looked at my previous attempt to tell the story half a year ago, and this number is changing very dramatically. When I started, it was only several hundred apps, and now we have almost 2,000, and I think it's only tenants we have, and we can expect it. Yeah, and ending my speech, I will show one-click factory service offerings, how we can help partners to upgrade their existing customer solutions. So we have 5 service options there. As I mentioned, that this is 2 of them are oriented to on-premise, 3 of them to cloud. So clean start solution, it means that we help you to move your data, to migrate your data to SaaS tenant, to keeping all code modifications outside. And but doing this service, we move custom data. So we create simple extension with only fields and tables, and like you can move to new house having all your data in boxes, but you need to unpack it by yourself. And you can develop it on top. And then upgrade options, yes, it covers moving of all customizations, and if you will contact our people working with partners, they will help you to create estimate in our portal. So you by uploading your existing customer solutions FOB file or AL file, compressed source code, our tools and our experts will estimate very precisely all those 5 options for each customer solution. So how much it will cost to upgrade your existing customer solution to SaaS, and of course we can commit that we can perform the service. Yeah.
No, not there yet. So thank you, Jonas. I just want to add here and comment a little bit, going back into the upgrade analyzer, that is completely free offer by One Click Factory, helping partners to save their pre-sales time. If you are wondering on how much would the upgrade to SaaS cost for your company, I highly encourage to use the service. All you have to do, just like Jonas explained, submit the files to us. We run it through our automated tests, and in approximately 5 days, you will get access to play with your real data online, available 24/7, and you can change the add-on actions, with some reports and so on, see the pricing, add your own margin. Whether you decide to work with One Click Factory on your upgrade or not, or work by yourself, that will be up to you. But I highly recommend you to try out the service, as this is something that we are very proud of developing and introducing for partners as our giveaway for the Dynamics market. And now, before we invite Agne to the stage, I also like to cover some questions that we received. I see that we have the question from, I believe, from Sophia regarding performance. And as I understand, Leho confirmed and Jonas confirmed, performance is no longer an issue. We don't hear partners complaining. But Jonas, maybe for you to comment. If someone still feels insecure suggesting the SaaS version to cloud, what are the options? What are the ways to address? Well, Lecho shared that he simply wrote to Microsoft and very soon the problem was fixed. What would be your recommendation if suddenly the performance becomes an issue?
Yeah, so I agree with this approach. And first of all, yes, Microsoft is willing to collaborate. And writing and contacting Microsoft helps to resolve such issues, especially when we talking about production performance issues. And of course, if you still have doubts, if your solution is too huge, if you have too much calls to external systems, and you are afraid that cloud technology is not ready for it, there are still options. As Lecho mentioned, some solutions still should stay on premise and wait for better times, and some solutions can go to private clouds. It's like hosting on-prem solution on cloud server, but not on SaaS, which upgrades automatically each month.
Okay, and then I have another question that I would like to ask you and Lecho, both of you. So Sergey is asking, in your experience, what is the ratio of upgrades vs re-implementation? So Jonas, what is our experience, because we are operating worldwide?
Yeah, I think it's not very objective ask me this question, because I'm getting already
Upgrades only.
requests from guys who are willing to upgrade. Yeah. So because our partners are coming to us with their customer solutions, so guys who want to re-implement, they are staying with partners, and guys who are willing to upgrade are going to us. So maybe Lecho is better candidate to answer from
Yes.
his.
Fair enough. Lecho, the word to you. In your experience, after upgrading or re-implementing, what is the ratio?
In our case, the upgrading is the majority of projects or upgrading projects. And yes, we face this database size challenge, but yeah, as mentioned, it's can be solved. Or again, talk with customers and leave this data out of the new Business Central. So yeah, we are doing the version upgrades mostly.
And again, question from me, will Upgrade Analyzer, I think BCS Itera, your colleagues have tried the service, so you have estimated. How did you like the solution? Would you recommend other partners to go and try it out?
Yeah, of course. It doesn't doesn't cost anything, so you have to try it out if that's the problem or issue for you.
Okay, and with this, I am very happy to invite Agne Balkevičiūtė-Lajienė, our Director of Strategic Initiatives at One Click Factory. Agnes' experience dates more than 20 years with Dynamics market, with Microsoft partners market. She has been around helping partners to grow, helping them understand what is the value of cloud, what is the value of subscription-based business. She has been around organizing Microsoft campaigns and very specific Microsoft programs targeting ISV partners and help numerous partners move their solutions to AppSource. So Agne is actually expert of partner feedback. She's talking with many partners every day, helping them build go-to-market plans, helping them understand the value. If you have any questions regarding your own path, here's the time to ask. On the personal basis, Agne is dreaming on climbing Alta Via Dolomiti someday, and she tried to encourage me to join her passion, but not there yet. So Agne, the floor is yours. Agne, I think now we discussed that it would be very interesting to hear how. I hear the huge noise now. Where's the background? Some kind of in the background. But Agnes and myself thought it would be very interesting to hear your view on the AppSource. So I invite you to take the poll. And do we see the poll here? Let's just a second. Okay, so what is the app source for you? Is it for to certify the solution, or maybe sell your solution in other countries, or maybe decrease your implementation support costs, generate more leads, or be recognized by Microsoft? Of course, I understand it might be all of the above, but what is app source particular for you? And let us check the results. Okay, the results are changing, but I see the majority of answers still goes for generating leads. So, Agnia, in your opinion, would you agree with the overall picture? In your experience, what is AppSource for many partners? How can they utilize, and especially how Central Eastern Europe partners are utilizing the AppSource?
Good day, everyone. Really happy to be with you today. So this is a tricky question Inga is asking, right? I would say that the poll results reveal the true intention why partners are looking into the app source, right? So we see that majority of the responses are that partners are looking into the app source to generate leads, right? And that could be one of the source of leads, but definitely not the primary source of leads, I would say. And then we see the other, most popular response, where we have 21% responses, sell my solution in other countries, right? That is another very, very, how to say, popular intention why someone is moving towards the app source, because we would like to extend our geographical boundaries, right? And to start doing businesses in the other countries as well. This is one of the significant reasons from the partners within Central and Eastern Europe, right, to enter new markets and utilizing the app source to enter the new markets. And I do see, very minor answers, only 8%, the decrease of the implementation and the support costs, that in reality turns out to be the core reason to be on the app source, right? To minimize implementation and support costs for the customers moving forward. And with that, let me just remind you what other presenters already said, that AppSource has a significant number of apps, as well as significant number of consulting services, right, on the AppSource related to the Business Central. So in reality, that is proven to be on the app source, to have presence out there is not like an adventurous path, but definitely the path to take and move forward with. Of course, we do need to think on the strategic approach. Are we product company or are we services company? And having that in mind, we are building our strategy and incorporating the app source into our overall journey moving forward, right? Another very good reason to be on the app source is, the publisher program initiative that Microsoft is carrying out, right? So we have really recent news that came out during the Directions conference, where Microsoft shared more details about the upcoming publisher program, right? Where in reality, one part of the news is that Microsoft, of course, intends to offer the cloud to all of the customers, and to make sure that the cloud offering is available for the new customers to come in, right? So in reality, Microsoft shared that they will not be limiting the on-prem app customizations, but rather adding a fee in the future that could be expected from 2023 moving on. The fees that you see on the slide, they are preliminary ones. They could change in the future, but after the summer of 2022, we could expect two new models in the Dynamics list price. One module called to something like implemented code is not in extensions, and the other module called implemented code is not cloud optimized, right? In case we do not have, we do not implement code as extension, and that extension to be ready for the SaaS. So meaning that Microsoft would like to make a path for the customer when the customer is ready to migrate to the cloud as easy as possible and without technological limitations in the future, right? So that is another good reason why to think and why to have solutions ready for the AppSource, and why to embrace the extension-based development and solution extension. But then, if you are thinking about the AppSource, there are, of course, significant questions to think about, right? So first of all is readiness. Readiness about the rules in the AppSource. What are my commitments? What would it take to transition to the AppSource? Which skills do I need to transition to the AppSource? What skills my team needs to transition to the AppSource? When we are starting to develop this solution, there are questions related to the design. How do we want to make an app? Are we moving an on-prem solution, as is to the app, or are we splitting it into several modules related to that? How will I prepare? And end of the day, when I feel that I'm ready, am I ready in reality for the AppSource? While having a solution on the AppSource, just like I mentioned, we all start the journey to the AppSource to generate leads. But in reality, we need to have a process in place on how do we recruit our new customers. AppSource is definitely part of that overall process, but not the only and the single step, right? And of course, the migration path that Jonas talked about. And last but not least is the maintenance. When we do have solution on the AppSource, we need to maintain it with the future releases from the Microsoft. And it is as well a process in place, responsibility allocated, right? And process designed on who will be responsible and how will we maintain our solutions in the future in this constantly changing world. Right. So when we are talking about getting ready, right? So first thing is to understand marketing and technical validation requirements. We'll look into these briefly later on, and as well to think about the best practices, like to have the automated tests in place that will, in reality, make it much easier to maintain solution in the future, to build in telemetry into your solution so that you know where and how would you like to continuously extend your solution, and which parts of the solutions are appreciated or not appreciated by your customers. And of course, a big question is around the monetization and intellectual property protection that is on the partners' shoulders, right? To find the way how to protect your intellectual property that you add on to the AppSource and how monetize it. Besides that, there is a need to have an offering, because we are talking not only about the piece of the software, but in reality, what benefit that provides to the customer, what is the overall buying journey, and maybe different levels of the offering towards your customer. Plan of staying current, and getting an infrastructure in place. We already had some of the questions in the chat on how to request the object range, register your graphics, and have all of the elements in place, like documentation and training and the environment, in place for your solution to go live. And last but not least is we need to submit our app for validation via Microsoft Partner Center. So it is a rather straightforward process and really a nicely automated process from the Partner Center, where we can submit our apps as well as our consultancy service offerings, where majority of the validation steps are automated, and we can see the report from the Microsoft on the areas we need to fix, or that it is okay, and we can proceed with publishing it on the AppSource. So when we are thinking about the offering, right, I would say that there is an important thing is what are we offering, right? What are the benefits are we providing? But besides of that, we need to think about the buyer. Who is our buyer? Are we thinking about the scenario like Leho mentioned, that we are about to implement apps, and maybe other customers would like to implement the apps as well, right? Are we thinking about the scenario where the buyer is the end customer, and we would expect the end customer to go into the AppSource to get the app, to download and start using all of the app and perform the setup as a self-service, right? So depending on that, it is depending on the buyer we are about to serve, right? It is what kind of elements we will implement into the solution, the self-service elements into the solution, and how will we structure commercial terms around the solution we'll get onto the AppSource. As well, differentiation is extremely important, right? And when we are talking about the differentiation, it is why my app would be the best app in this specific situation. And I would encourage everyone to think about as specific situation as possible. Of course, sometimes we are thinking about the horizontal apps, like for example, payroll, or certain accountancy improvements, or certain horizontal process automations. But even in those areas, as specific as possible, maybe that is payroll process for that is a good fit for a specific country or a specific industry within that country, or maybe that is supporting a specific payroll functions better than whoever else, right? When we are thinking about the customer journey, in the customer journey, I would especially encourage you to think about the promotion and trial pieces that are now enabled by the Microsoft. So before partners, before SaaS and before Business Central SaaS, we as partners, we had to provide the infrastructure deployment for the customer to do the trial. Now, currently, we can utilize Business Central trial functionality and embed that in our customer journey to make sure that that is smooth and lean process with much lower cost from us like a partners investing in the infrastructure of the trial, right? Of course, promotion and the sales channel and packaging and pricing and monetization, right? Are we bringing one app as an offering, or would that app have different levels of the service? Would app be something that combines some other offerings, we present as an app, or will we have different modules and you choose app A for basic, you choose app B for a better option, and app C for the best option, right? So when we are thinking about the marketing requirements, so of course the first thing and the most usual mistake partners make when publishing their offerings on the AppSource is wrongly utilizing Microsoft product names, right? So if we are building an app for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, we need to mention the full name of the product in our marketing collateral, right? Of course, there is a list of topics to look into our briefing and our offering that is to get onto the AppSource. We need to remember that Microsoft AppSource is a marketplace that is directed towards the end customer, right? So the materials that we are providing in the Microsoft AppSource are directed towards potentially your end customer. And even if you have a strategy to resell via the partner, right, this content that you are about to build should be directed to the end customer. And of course, we do have, besides of the marketing requirements that are related to the AppSource listing page, we have a technical requirements towards our app, right? And we see that there is, of course, there is a need for an AL extension with a prefix, with the relevant settings and formats. An important piece is to digitally sign your piece of code, provide user scenario documentation, and to perform an internal test before submitting it towards the Microsoft for the validation. I would say the key thing when starting to develop is to read those requirements and to understand those requirements. What would you need to do to develop and publish an app? And of course, maintenance is an important piece. And so my encouragement would be to think about continuous deployment and integration, right? When we are thinking not only about the product development, but about the product as a service development, right? So we constantly need to check for the changes, to modify if needed, to run self-validation before submitting, and submit an app for validation again if you have certain fixes implemented due to changes in the requirements from the customers, but equally changes could come in due to the changes in the core application of the Business Central, where you need to comply with. And as we are entering new countries, right, where Microsoft is not providing out-of-the-box localization for the Business Central, localization question is most probably an important question for you to consider, right? So in the old on-prem world, we had a monopoly or isolation of the localization per specific partners. But now on, localization is just another app. So partner owns the app, partner can monetize it as partner sees a fit, and any of the partners can build localization apps. When working on an app and when designing a timeline to release it, I would encourage you to have at least 1 month buffer built in within your timeline before the release, to of course pool resources and form reseller partnerships, right, for the base application, just like Alexander mentioned before. We do see that building an app is a significant investment, and building a localization app is a significant investment. And in some countries, we see that there is a group of partners working on the app with, sharing an investment and sharing revenues from the app as such. And in other countries, we see that there are more than one localization app where partners are not forming the relationships. So, of course, economical efficiency is the key there, but the most important thing that we continue to do businesses with the Business Central online. So with that, Inga, back to you.
Yes, Agnes, thank you. We also have a question from Nikolai that I would ask you to go back once after our short discussion. From my side, I wanted to ask about Central Eastern Europe insights. How many apps do you see submitted by partners from Central Eastern Europe, and on average, whether it's a good number, a bad number, how can we improve?
Mm-hmm. So I would say, there is not such a easy way to filter on the number of apps submitted by Central Eastern European partners. But I would say that we are dragging, overall impression is that we are dragging behind. And that is very much understandable, because Business Central solution, right, was introduced within our region with a rather significant delay. So I'm pretty sure we'll see numbers increasing and growing from the Central European region.
Okay. Nice. So, okay, with this, thank you, Agna. I'm still want to encourage everyone to use the opportunity and ask your questions on chat, whether it is questions, answers, or public chat. We are trying to manage the answers, and experts are there to help you out with any dynamics-related questions that you have. And with this, let me invite you, the last expert, the last panelist on board, Tautvydas Dagys, who is very passionate Power Platform platform CRM expert at One Click Factory. Building the business line at One Click Factory, making sure that partners uncover the business case behind, delivering workshops, trainings for partners. So quite intensively overloaded at the moment. As from my experience, how do I add Power Platform? How do I integrate Business Central with Power Platform is one of the most frequent questions that I receive. And by the way, for those who are wondering if we are running out of time, yes, we are a bit delaying, but there will be recording available. We respect your time. So if you need to go, that's okay. We will share the recording after that. And we will stay for a couple of more minutes after the planned scheduled time to answer remaining questions that you have. So, Tautvidas, hello. Welcome on board. And just before you move to your slides, I would like to ask you, at the moment you are delivering quite many workshops for NEV Business Central partners to help them uncover this business case behind. So what is the outcome? Have you already found this golden bullet? And no? So what is the trick? How do I integrate?
Yeah, so actually those things are coming in my slides, but yeah, partners are starting to find out the benefits of Power Platform. Of course, I should say that Business Central partners are a bit lagging behind finance and operations partners, which already a step ahead with the integrations to Power Platform, CRM, and building new apps supporting that.
Okay, so the floor is yours.
Yeah,
Let us hear your story.
Yeah, so usually we have three main topics when we are discussing with the Business Central partners. So first, of course, as Jonas mentioned, that when you are moving to SaaS option with Business Central, you are much more limited in technologies. You don't have local access and etc. And you have to refactor into the cloud way. So the first thing where Power Platform comes in to support you is just technologically, so that you would have a different options and fully cloud-ready tools to extend Business Central. Then, of course, one of the main topics is integration to a CRM or customer engagement apps, which really makes sense for the companies to have data integrated. And later we see when partners already jump into the Power Platform, they see the benefits and the power of this. They already thinking about extension of business offerings that they're doing, and offering services next to Business Central, already utilizing Power Platform. So the first thing I would like to emphasize and mention is that the license perspective, and probably it's not so widely mentioned, but all your Business Central, not the teams, but the full Business Central users, they are automatically having the entitlement for Power Apps and Power Automate, which means that you can just take and use the technology, and it doesn't cost any additional licenses for your customers. Then if we go into the scenarios, of course, there are many of those. So first scenario usually comes very obvious, the mobile apps, the apps which can access to the device capabilities like GPS or camera and etc. for scanning, or some very simple scenario-based applications like time entry, lead generation, inspection, or something like that. It could be for mobile, or it could be for web as well. Offline mobile applications available on the Dataverse, and some new scenarios like a chatbot where you can integrate into your website, and your customers can check the, I don't know, the product prices or availability or something like this, where you can do the direct connection from the chatbot directly to Business Central and get the live data from there. We also see many new scenarios coming from digitalization of the processes, like invoice digitalization, where you are getting the invoices via emails or any other forms. And with the power of in the pipeline, you can build in the Power Platform, utilizing Power Automate, Artificial Intelligence Builder, connectors, and other tools. You can get scanned documents, recognize the forms, digitalize them, I don't know, translate, do some other modifications, and put that data into Business Central via connectors. Also, scenarios like customer portals, vendor portals, self-service portals, where you can create and build on the Dataverse after integrating your Business Central to Dataverse. We also see partners who used to do some extensions to Business Central, which are not ERP type of extensions. They really are passionate, finding that they can now build it easier, low-code way in the Power Platform, like on the Dataverse or as the Canvas app. And it's much easier to maintain, and there is no need for like full type of developers. It could be a low-code developers. Approval processes and etc. And what Jonas mentioned, integration to local resources like files and etc. So there is via Power Automate, there is connectivity to both cloud resources like SharePoint, any other cloud storage providers, and Azure as well. But also there is possibility through the data gateways still connect to a local servers and store read data from there, or access some local devices to read some documentations, etc. I won't stick much on this diagram. This is kind of simplified connectivity between Business Central and different areas of Power Platform, like Power Automate and Canvas apps via connectors, and integration to Dataverse, either through data synchronization or virtual tables, which gives us possibility to get to a model-driven apps portals, which I mentioned, and also CRM or customer engagement apps. Power BI is technologically a separate thing, so technically it connects through different type of connectors. Yeah, so there is probably no need to mention that integration itself is the big benefit, saving time and etc. Probably one thing which I want to emphasize, that if you already sold Business Central to your customers, it has also so-called attached licensing and pricing, and there are sales professional and customer service professional offerings coming from customer engagement suite, which you can offer your customers on a much lower price, and then integrate it and extend your offering, not only ERP, but also add CRM or customer service offering on much better pricing together with the Business Central. Yeah, as I mentioned, new business lines, that what partners come when they really get into the Power Platform. There are many things like building non-ERP type of applications separate from Business Central, provide different type of process automation for your customers, or integrations with the Power Automate, or today is the hot topic as well, like robotic process automation, which Microsoft has as a good offering, part of Power Automate, where you can extend the whole process of your customer, not only ERP side, but connect some non-API based applications, or create a possibility to submit data to some tax authorities which also don't have APIs. So robotic process automation could be an option and a possible business extension for you. So there are lots of things we can talk about how to integrate Business Central to Power Platform. On September, we did a series of webinars when we explained all possibilities from technology side and scenarios, and then we get into more technical details in each type of technical approaches, connector-based, Dataverse-based, or Power BI. So you are welcome to just review the recordings and learn more about those possibilities, how to integrate Business Central to Power Platform. And of course, if you're interested more, we are always happy to help with the trainings, workshops, and implementation support. Yeah, my colleagues should just paste the links shortly to those recordings.
Thank you, Tautvydas. I would like to ask you, well, you have many discussions with partners now. Talking about Central Eastern Europe, what competences are mostly partners missing now regarding the Power Platform? What is your recommendation other than what you have shared, the review, but the practical things that you say, here's what for you to know? Tautvydas, did you freeze or
Yeah,
I froze
sorry.
you with my question?
Yeah, network was lagging, so
Network was lagging. Okay.
I heard that just a bit. So competence lag. So yeah, usually they start learning Power Platform, and that's where we usually start explaining the benefits, how to integrate, how to utilize that, and etc. Usually the first steps where we start helping partners in CE.
Okay, and with this, I would say that now is the time. If you still think that you haven't asked your question, or you waited till the end to ask the question, now is the time to do that. Again, it's the time to request to join One Click Factory CSP Acceleration Program, as we would be more than happy to guide you through the program and through acceleration. And before we wait a couple of minutes to see if we have questions popping in, I actually have one tricky question regarding Power Platform that I received during Directions EMEA. Sergey, I hope if you are there, still there, I hope you don't mind me sharing. So the question of partner was, years ago, there was a huge demand for WordPress. And now we have very similar demand for Power Platform, huge of investment, everybody's jumping in. But what happened with WordPress, that once everybody went there, actually it was very hard to differentiate yourself anymore, because the solution itself was found at all the websites became similar, the solution was similar, and so on. So then everybody stopped. So the question partner asked, the tricky question that I have, would you draw the analogy of Power Platform and WordPress, let's say? Is there a risk of everybody jumping suddenly on the Power Platform because the demand is huge, and then suddenly discovering no longer they can differentiate? Tautvydas? And if Tautvydas is frozen, then Alexander, I would like to give the word to you.
I will add. I don't see any similarity.
Analogy.
Yeah, yes, this analogy maybe exists, but I don't see these input variables are not the same. And especially Power Platform is not unique solution. This is Microsoft solution, and I would like to give all the best for this solution. But we have big competitors. We have Mendix, we have UiPath, and that means this low-code model is something really big right now in a global market. And this is not only connected with Microsoft. Almost all, never mind ServiceNow, Salesforce, all of them are trying to make some low-code models. And I cannot find that all of these solutions will be even similar. And I don't see it. On the other side, Power Platform, for Power Platform, we have a few different approaches. We can use this as developer platform, but we can use this as some small supporting platform for small customizations. And on the other side, we can use this as a customer-based tool for additional things. And depends of what is need of specific customer, or what we are planning to do with the projects. We need to choose one of these approaches. This is pretty complex, and this is not something we will have all similar applications. And even in Power
Yeah, so
Platform,
sorry,
maybe
seems that
I'm confused.
it's
Maybe
network
even in
is lagging,
Power
and
Platform we have model
either I
driven,
can
we
use
have
mic
Canvas
or
platform. There's
camera.
pretty big difference between all of them.
Okay, now I see Tautvydas talking and Alexander talking. Tautvydas, we cannot see you, but we hear the ghost voice from somewhere. So thank you, Alexander. And
Yeah, so
Tautvydas, it is a bit messy. We see internet lacking, and we do not see you. Alexander, again I wanted to ask. I asked this question to Tautvydas, but we also had this discussion with you as well. You mentioned that partners in CE, they lack to explain the value of Power Platform. They lack to understand, to explain partners the total picture of what Power Platform is bringing. Would you elaborate on this?
Yes, again, I will try to avoid generalization because
Mm-hmm.
we have different partners every time. But you can find that some partners created really big, completely solutions and publish on AppSource only on a Power Platform. On the other side, we have good models for some business central partners that they will create some good supported apps to support business central. But in most of cases, business central partners are not involved so much in Power Platform. And even if we talk about Power Platform, the most of them are thinking about Canvas Power Apps and Power Automate, and eventually, okay, Power BI. But in most of cases, we don't have this connection with Dataverse, with model-driven apps, and this is a place where I see that they can make the most because we can create this hybrid model of development. Some part can be in a business central, and to avoid to have a really huge databases inside of business central, we can use virtual entities from a business central, continue to make development in Dataverse, and this is what I call hybrid development because partially it will be in a database, partially it will be in a business central. And this is a place where I see business central parties need to start the first, not with Canvas. Okay, with some automation, Power Automate, this is good, but first place will be Dataverse and how they can extend business central with Dataverse.
Okay, thank you. And then I have a question to Lecho that I really hear quite often partners saying, cloud is more expensive. If you calculate on-premise license and then if you calculate the monthly payments, it will probably never be the same, right? So this is the objection that we need to prepare, especially partners who will just be going with a SaaS solution as we are offering. How do you address this objection? You mentioned it a little bit that you try to avoid this straight comparison.
Yeah, there can be comparison, but yes, I always tell the customer you have to involve all the parts into this comparison, not only compare the price of licenses or price of server hardware, but also list all these possible side costs or hidden costs also there. Yeah, in some cases I admit that if we just watching on the numbers of the investment, the cloud can be a little bit higher than, I don't know, the private cloud, for example. But we try to convince them that the cloud is more hassle-free for the customer. So you don't have to worry about how to make next version upgrade or do I have the right persons available this time to do the testing or something like that. So just try to list all the side costs, hidden costs there, and then do the comparison. And yeah, if then appears that maybe the private cloud at this time is the right choice, then okay, we go for the private cloud. But for the cloud,
For the cloud, especially, yes, for the cloud. I don't see Agnia, but I hope she's still here. Agnia, I also have a question for you that I receive from partners quite often. So regarding AppSource, how do I understand which solution do I trust? If there's number of solutions available, how do I trust which vendor is trustful? How do I pick? How do I do my research? Is there a straightforward answer? Let's say If the solutions is on AppSource, it means that it's verified by Microsoft and this is the one that you trust, or maybe there are some other tips around. And now I just hope that Agnes magically will appear on screen. And if not, Alexandra, I will address this question to you too.
Okay. If Agne is not answering, I will add a few my comments.
Yes, please add your
There
comments.
is no officially comment from Microsoft, and I will talk in my name, but I think this is pretty similar what we will say in Microsoft in general. Yes, Microsoft is validating all these solutions, but Microsoft is validating in two directions. One is marketing, because we need to have all necessary information for our client that they will need to know what they will download, buy, whatever. And we have technical validation. That means this solution pass all our technical requirements about future upgrades, whatever, but we don't know completely quality of this application, especially what Leho mentioned, that this application will have full life cycle, because in next year you need to believe that this partner, to trust the partner, they will continue with improving these apps, or eventually minimum to have aligned with new versions. I will suggest first to see, okay, first how many applications you have there, how many downloads, marks, because all of clients who will buy or download can make a grade for these apps. And on the end, I will check a little bit more market, because this is not every time what is published. You need to get especially a little bit more trust. But again, it depends what you will take. Maybe you will take one small feature, and eventually, if this is not okay, you can unpublish, and there is no any problem. And this is much better. And Lech in one moment mentioned that this is now really good for, because of repeatability. You can easily create and you can install so many times as you need. But the same situation is if you want to uninstall, you will just uninstall and you will not destroy anything. You will just uninstall, you don't like it or you don't need it, you can uninstall, or actually you will unpublish this from your environment. But if you talk about more serious processes, I will make a little bit bigger research before I start.
Thank you. And probably it will be the last question, the technical one. Maybe Jonas can help. Is there any standard tool from One Click Factory to archive, delete the old data in the company without a complete new restart?
No, unfortunately, we don't have such tool because all those data management issues, they are very dependent on country, on localization, on local data. So it would be hard to create any solution that is universal for everyone. But as I mentioned it before, already there are some partners working on creation of such tools because the idea is to make easy movement from historical data to some external Power BI or data warehouse, leaving only last 2 or 3 or whatever you want some data for operational purposes, and all historical data move outside the Business Central. So this idea is in the air, and I believe it will happen soon.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you for everybody joining this session. For the ones who are happy to receive the long-awaited Business Central SaaS version, I wish you good luck with your sales, with your moving customers to cloud, assuring that they are on the latest version, just like Leho was saying. And as a final note, I would just like to say that probably the worst scenario is that when customer wants to be on the cloud and the partner is against. And I really wish you don't end up in this scenario, that it is you as a partner first who is encouraging and moving and telling your customers that cloud is the one and only way moving forward. Thank you for panelists and experts joining. Thank you, Leho. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Jonas. Agne, I don't see you, but thank you. And Tautvidas. Tautvidas, also there was a question for you answered by Alexander for digits. So thank you all, and wish you a good day, good lunch if you haven't had it yet, and see you in our next events. Bye-bye.